Welcome to After Dusk with Dawn Piercy, where we're not afraid to talk about things that go bump in the night, with special guest co-hosts and so much more. We're bringing you the facts versus fiction and the history of it all. Remember, it's always darkest before dawn. Tune in every Wednesday at 10:30 and get your bite. Picking up where we left off on After Dusk with Dawn Piercy with a continuation from last week. Get your bite on.
And what we do know is that the church controls a lot of kind of this, they're like controllers of knowledge. So like there's a lot of these things that are going on that the church, and it's just not Christianity, it's Islam, Buddhism.
Right.
The four main religions have tried to kind of control this kind of runaway thing going on in the shadows of our lives. You know, they're kind of saying, well, that's not that. These are this and whatever. But it's clear that there's something interacting with humankind, interacting with this planet. And it's a part of it and of the world, and it's a part of us. The question is, what exactly are they? Are they truly fairies? Are they own their own spirit species? Or are they spirits? What are they? Or going back to, they're just a different name and take on what humans have been experiencing since the dawn of man, which is alien abductions and alien interaction. And you can't describe what you're experiencing, so you say it's, and those beings that came to you were these little beings with wings, so that's how you describe it. Mm-hmm. And names are assigned to these things, and you wake up pregnant, or you wake up, you know.
There's an account of an abduction from a fairy king, okay? Sir Orfeo is an anonymous Middle English. It's about a king who had to rescue his wife from the fairy king.
Mm-hmm.
And
you wanted to make hybrid babies.
Right. And that's really scary. That's scary. But he lost his wife.
She was hot.
He lost his wife early days to make
hybrid babies for whatever reason. That super soldiers, maybe. See, there you go. That's, I mean, to me, in my mind, especially like in
well, it says that
in ancient times, right? You could breed super soldiers for these massive armies, mm-hmm. right, to march across the sands of Egypt. You know, you could make these super soldiers to assault the walls of Babylonia, right? And a lot of these guys, when you take the average soldier then and compare and put them to a soldier now, these dudes were real badasses. I mean, these guys like went into battle with a shield and a sword, you know, wearing barely anything, and they had to fight against another make and model, right? Whatever they were hybrided with, and you fight to the death, and it's ugly. You get slowly hacked apart. You know, edge weapon combat is generally not one-shot kills.
Right.
It's about who can get hacked apart the longest, hoping the other one bleeds out.
Right. Well, with the Sir Orfeo, I want to get back to that because he's seen the fairy king take his wife to a tree. And then he wandered the forest for many, many, many years looking for his wife. And he ended up emerging through a cliff into the fairy kingdom, mm-hmm. which would have been the land of giants. And I'm interested to know, but it says it's a flat, expansive countryside, you know, with a magnificent castle built with gold and glass and all that kind of stuff. But he was able to bring his wife. So he was able to save her in the end. But how could you go through something like that? And I mean, this is, I guess, based like on a true event. But to wander a forest for so many years, and how it's like, how did what guided him to that cliff to go in the cliff and reach the land of the fairies. And is that
Love and
the land of the fairies is the only
right.
opening in that spot, or are there several different openings?
Well, I think I would say that there's many portals to fairyland, which the question is it actually fairyland? Is it a portal to another planet?
Right.
Is it a holodeck on an alien spaceship? Right? There's always that possibility, and then descriptions, like how do you, like a city, like a castle of gold and glass, to me, almost sounds like a modern high-rise building, right? But in that, 500 years ago, how do you describe that, right?
Right.
So you just call it a castle of, steel and glass or gold and glass or whatever, right? So who knows what this person saw? And to answer your question about wandering the woods forever, it's called true love, and finding the portal is fate. Or a little help from some other being that's a rival of the fairies, because, the gnomes don't like, who knows? I mean, it's all crazy, right? It's like, I think everyone, can't we just all get along? I mean, like, the gnomes hate the fairies, fairies hate elves, don't really like elves don't really like fairies, because they think fairies think they're like all like, the shit.
Hey!
You know what I mean? And it's like, and then here in our world, it's like there's all this racist stuff and people shooting. It's like, when is that superior race of when is that like army of predators going to come and like just teach everyone a lesson? Like, can you imagine like just this all-out war between humans, and there's like fairies on the left of you and gnomes on the right of you?
That's happened before, so it's like
predators shooting lasers, right, and like heads on pikes and shit. And it's just going nuts. It's just crazy because it could happen, because it's apparently going on now, but like,
in
could
different
like the
realities,
gnomes,
right,
join the Black Panthers, and then like, I don't know, maybe the elves. Like, I'm just saying, it's a crazy universe.
It is indeed
a lot of
crazy
war and
universe.
chaos,
and that's why we're leaving you, our audience, with this information. So you can make a sound decision on your own. Have you been affected by this? Have you seen these orbs? Have they bothered you? Have you seen fairies too? That's the question. And I want to leave that with you. And before we get even deeper into this subject. So with that, yeah, absolutely.
Go see Ralph Bakshi's Wizards.
Ralph Bakshi's Wizards.
Wizards, yes. That came out in 73 or 5 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And it's in researching this, I remembered that story, and I kind of looked up the synopsis of the film. I think I have it. I haven't got a chance to view it again, but it's all about how mankind destroyed nature and all the things that were good, and then ultimately destroyed itself. And 3,000 years later, the fairies and the elves and magical beings are back, and the planet has healed itself. And here you have these humans-like beings. They're kind of more demonic, but they're basically supposed to represent humans, trying to rise up and rebuild technology and do it all over again. And there's this big war over it.
There sure is. Yes. So